Hello everybody again.
Hi everyone.
And this is a new question and answer session. Last time we were answering your 4 questions. Now we have been getting many new questions from you, and then getting questions from customers what we have met here in Luxembourg and in Germany and all over Europe. So coming to that, my name is Joona Mäntyvaara and here
My name is Tom Soroka.
Thomas Soroka. The first question is a very relevant one and usually comes in early stage of application development. So, what is the most important thing you need to take in consideration when you start an application development process?
There is few things, and we should mention that today we talk about mobile applications in general, but this is general questions. So what is most important when you start development of the new application? The first is to define goals, the goals we want to achieve, and what is important, they should be also clear. The goals, the vision should be clear for whole development team.
Okay.
This is quite often that developers are not committed too much to the project, to the development, and the only reason is that they do not know what is the goal to achieve. They look on the whole project from the perspective that they deliver next lines of the code, but it shouldn't be like this. So the vision, the goals, the clear understanding for everyone involved, this is the crucial.
And of course for the business, that's the most important thing, that you're doing something that customers really require and need.
What customer really need, and something what really solve the problem, because it's a very simple world. We have problem, we have solution.
Right.
So we should start with development of anything only when we identify the problem and we try to deliver solution. And of course, in the world of startups, is that they do pivoting. They are not sure where is the business model and so on and so on. But still, with each iteration of your MVP, of your preparation, you try to figure out what is the problem. You try to solve it, even if we deliver in the beginning only mock-ups, whatever, or MVP, but we try to solve, get the feedback, see if we go with the proper path, and move on, and do it in iterations. So this is the crucial one.
Then there's a second question that usually pops up during the discussions with the customers, is that can you give us an example of right technology, how to choose the right technology, and what is the technology choosing it? Like, what do we need to have and do to be right in the future?
Yes, and this is also a very interesting question, because in mobile development we have many different approaches. We can build applications natively, so we use native tools, languages for iOS, and the same, and in case of iOS it can be Objective-C or Swift, and we use tools from Apple. In case of Android world, we use Java or Kotlin language, and that's it. And this is the quite good approach, but it might be problematic, because we need to use different technologies, so probably we need different teams, and we need to write our mobile application twice. We need to be sure that whole logic, how it works, all behaviors are the same. So we can say that our effort is doubled.
Okay.
And then we have on the market technologies which are called hybrid ones. And also we divide them into several categories. So we have, for example, Xamarin, we call it native approach, where we, on the user interface level, we use everything what is used in native applications for iOS and for Android. So you have full access to all native behaviors, and your application will look like exactly like native one. The main difference is that the code is built once for both platforms. So imagine that 80% of the code is the same. Yeah. So if you have to add new feature, then you add it once, and you just adjust this feature in user interface. If you have a bug, you fix it once. Yeah. So you can save a lot of money, a lot of time, and management of such project, maintenance of such project, it is much easier. Then we have such modern technologies, but they all are modern. But let's say the last ones, like for example React Native. It is hybrid technology where we use, let's say, wide used web technologies to build mobile application. So we use React. React language, React framework from Facebook, and we can have almost the same. We have the same application for iOS and Android, and we develop it mainly in JavaScript by using React. Yeah, so it's even faster than Xamarin Native. It's similar to Xamarin Forms. But the bad thing is that with React Native we have additional layer which is responsible for generating the user interface. And the second thing is that React is a language which is easy to use, but it's also easy to mess if you develop not let's say following the best practices. Yeah. Okay. So I saw many times projects, mobile applications written in React Native. They were developed in very fast way, but in some moment developers start losing control over it.
Any good examples on that?
Maybe it's not the good example that someone lose the control, but we can talk a bit about Airbnb example. Okay. Yeah, that they developed their mobile application in React Native for last few years, and it was very good in the beginning, but in some moment now they decided to switch to the native development.
What is that?
The problem was with ability to manage the whole code base. Okay. This how React Native is changing rapidly. So there was a lot of problems and issues, and finally they decide to switch. Yeah. So sometimes it works this way that in the beginning you can. It's better and faster to use some hybrid technology, like even Ionic. Cordova, which is even easier than React Native or Xamarin Forms. Then you have something what is in the mid, and we really like it in Liware. For us, Xamarin Native is the best way because this is something in the middle, yeah, between native ones and between total hybrid approaches. Okay. And with Xamarin it's easy to develop very complicated, very big projects, big applications during long period of time. But also we use React Native. Client is a king, so we need to also to stick to requirements. But the biggest issues are, the biggest problems are if someone is not aware about the pros and cons of each technology. And for example, the biggest role is the most important in the beginning is the price. So it's always cheaper to do it in Ionic, but very fast you can be in a situation that you are before the wall and you can go through because of some problems with user interface, with behaviors, with data store, with offline mode. So there is a lot of questions you should have into consideration before you decide what technology to choose.
Okay. And then there's a first question. What usually comes up also with our customers is that how can we ensure that we have the right competencies throughout the IT project?
Yeah. Yes. This is also important, very important topic, And those competences, in my opinion, should be divided into two categories: developers and everything around. Yeah. So if you are going to develop mobile application and you are in Microsoft ecosystem, then probably it will be better to use Xamarin Native approach than Ionic or Native, as long as you, for example, don't have requirements which are hard to implement in Xamarin. I have in mind mainly some deep hardware integrations and so on and so on. But this is very specific scenario, and it didn't happen too often. And of course, if you have more React developers, then probably it will be easier to do it in React Native than in Native or Xamarin or Ionic. Yeah? So access to right resources is very crucial, and also access to right person who will be product owner, who understand what is the mobile development, right access to someone who is great in developing user interface, UX, and so on and so on. Yeah, so this is the whole ecosystem of right competences which should be taken into consideration before you start the development.
So what are the key roles for your company to have, and what can you outsource then?
Developers.
Yeah.
But the value, of course, well-skilled senior developer is important, but the value also is above that. So, for example, if you have people who knows how to collect requirements, how to build documentation, how to use the good approaches like behavior-driven development, it is very important. Architects, yeah, so people. I also saw it many times that the business domain was not well implemented in software, and what more, developers were not understanding the business domain of the client. Yeah, because as we know, let's say the domain where developers are the best is software development, and if we work on some solution for manufacturing sector, then if they do not understand some important things in manufacturing, they will never deliver good solution. And what is more important, they also need to understand how to convert this reality into the code to be sure that it is well connected. We have domain-driven design approach, methodology, and if you have people who know it, if you have developers who know how to use it, then it is very good. And also people who will, let's say, will glue all those competences, so like product owner, project manager, it depends from the project, from the client, but someone who can be a leader and who can, let's say, make this whole process smoothly and as it should be. Yeah.
Okay. Then one question about security and applications. What should we take in consideration regards of security?
Regards of security. In security, of course, it's important to follow best practices to avoid, let's say, security bugs which can be dangerous for the project. But if we talk from about this topic from the technology point of view, then if you have less layers in your mobile application on technological level, then there is bigger probability that you will be more secured. Yeah, and this is why, for example, many banking applications are using the approach where we use native development or Xamarin Native. We have such cases of consumer banking applications we did in the past, and they were developed in Xamarin. And what more, we moved from native development to Xamarin Native development because it was much cheaper and faster, but still the security was on a very good level. But if we talk about technologies like React Native, like Ionic, Cordova, then you need to know that all those technologies are are putting additional layer between this native layer and user interface. And if there is something wrong in this layer, it might be a security issue for you. Yeah, so this is very important. But again, it's not like this topic is important for all types of applications. Yeah, so if you are in area of banking, money, important stuff like this, then you should consider it. If you build application for your clients for ordering for e-commerce and so on and so on, then probably it's not worth to spend more money on native development only because it will be probably more secure. Maybe not. Yeah,
that's right.
It depends.
Security is a very important issue right now. Then the last question, question number 5. So this is something also that customers ask us regarding the documentation process and proper development and documentation together. So how should I do this documentation during and also after the software development project?
Yeah, this is a very good question. And what is most important, which is not clear for many people, is that when we start developing version 1.0, then this is the beginning of the journey. So we do not finish the project after rollout and that's it. Yeah, probably we will work, hopefully, if the application project will be successful on version 2, 3, 4, and so on and so on. Yeah, so you need to put the whole thing on timeline and ask yourself a question. Do I need good documentation after version 1.0 before start version 2.0? Should it be consistent? Why? It should be consistent. Should it be easy to manage? Why it should be easy to manage? And how big it should be? Yeah, because we can have approach where we have no documentation. We can have approach where we have tons of paper, where of course we have a lot of descriptions, a lot of text, but no one will read it. So what is the best approach? Yeah, and from your expertise and our experience is that we need to know goals, vision, which probably will be different for version 1.0 for version 2.0. We need to know requirements, means what we are going to do. We need to know acceptance criteria. So we need to know when this what we delivered, is this what was expected by client. We need to have a good description of architecture, of different, let's say, states of objects, for example. We need to know how to divide the whole solution into small parts, and here domain-driven design is something what is very helpful, because we shouldn't build a very big monolithic solution, but it should be divided into small pieces which can talk each to other. But if we need to replace, for example, payment system, we can plug it out and plug another one. Yeah. Okay. If we are going to build application for selling goods in internet, and we need to send invoices to the client, then probably we shouldn't build whole invoicing system. We should have clear interface and be able to plug today this system and after 2 years something else. Yes. So this is also important. And when we have all those things in place, then developers knows what to develop, testers knows what to test, client knows what to expect, and life is just easier. And this is the goal. Okay. So documentation should be on the level required level, requirements are very, very important, and for me this is the most important thing, requirements and acceptance criteria. And it should be stored in the way that it's easy to manage, easy to change for next versions, iterations, always up to date. And for developers, it should be the main, let's say, place where the truth is. Yeah, so everyone should be able to evaluate that something is working like is described here. Yeah, if not, then faster or later you will have problems.
Okay. Hey, thank you everybody. Subscribe to the channel and send us questions through the comments. Send us questions directly to us as well. And I wish you a great day, and probably Thomas as well.
Yes, as well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much and have a good day.